Okay, in order to make our variegated wood, we're going to use a lot of little scrap pieces. We've got to cut them down to size. Now I'm going to make mine all 1/2 inch thick, which is, okay, the width doesn't really matter because we want a lot of variation in the wood anyways. But we do want to make them 1.5 inch thick, and we've got to cut them on the table saw. The safest way to do this is to make a little tool like this, a little notch on the bottom, and it goes on the back of the piece of wood. When you do your cutting, you feed it through and then guide it through with the little tool. Okay, we'll try one of these, see if it works. Okay, it seems to have worked pretty good. I've got several pieces here I've been working with. Just match it together. Yeah, that works very nicely. You got a nice 1/2 inch thick wood, and we'll be piecing all these together to make our little variegated wood that we're going to use later on. We're going to cut these down smaller pieces too, so they're almost like little tiles that we can group together. So I'm going to cut a bunch of these out, and I'll see you back at the table later. Okay, we've made up a whole slew of these little wood pieces here now, and we've got a great variety. We've got some mahogany, got some purple heart, some poplar, some alder, got some padauk. Got one here that I had made up earlier of several different types of wood. We can use the pieces of that. Got some maple. So what we're going to do now is cut these down into little tiles. They don't have to be of any particular length. As a matter of fact, if you vary the length, it'll be even better and more interesting with the final wood you're going to make. So I'm going to do this over at the chop saw. Let's take a look at how we go about this. Okay, we're over here at the chop saw, and what we're going to do is randomly cut off little tiles from all these pieces of wood that we cut up before. And we'll put them in a box, and we'll take them over there and we'll use them for our variegated wood we're going to make. So here we go. Okay, as you can see, we've got quite an assortment of different shapes, different tile colors, and things of that sort. What we're going to do now is we're going to make up our blank for a cross. We'll do these in small numbers just to get started. What you're going to want to do is make sure the cross fits on a backing board that you have so that it's within the range of being used. And we're going to take all these tiles, not all of them, but some of them, and just sort of glue them down here all the way across to make a blank for our cross to be cut from. Okay, so let's get started with that. Doesn't matter what you start with, you can just randomly pick from all the pieces that you've got. I'm going to start with this, there's one here, looks like a piece of mahogany, and we'll put some of our glue on the back of it. I'm going to just glue these down, put them on the side too. We'll need that there eventually. Okay, we'll just line it up with the edge of the backing board. That looks pretty good. And then we'll take this piece here sop that up on the back and match it up with the one we did on the top. Okay, got two different colors there already. Okay, we got enough there now for our first cross we want to try. It probably would be better when you cut these blanks. We know how we cut them to a 1/2 inch wide. If you flip them around on the other side and make the other side 1/2 inch as well, so that everything comes out a little more even. We can fix this up without any problem. We're going to just leave that down there now until it's glued nicely. We'll put a box on top of it here. Okay, we're back here and everything seems to have dried nicely. I'm going to take some glue right now, like this, and put it right along the crevices between little tiles, and I'm going to let it seep down inside for a few moments. Enough so that it goes down into the cracks, because I want to fill in those cracks with a fine sawdust that I've got. Give it a few moments. Probably can't see it, but if there's any openings there, the glue is dropping down inside, I'm sure. In a spot here I seem to have missed, or it's already dropped in, one or the other. While we're doing this, there's more seeping down. Stuff that's already seeped in has probably gone down a lot further already too. I don't want it to go down too far without catching on there. Now what I've got here is some very fine sawdust from some Purple Heart, and I don't know if you can see that or not. It's going to be blurred a bit there, but some Purple Heart and some Padauk. Mixed them together, give it a nice little coloration. I'm going to take that and spread it around here over the crevices primarily. I saved this from previous cuttings that I did. Pretty well covers everything there. Okay. Let it sit there for a moment or two. Doesn't matter if it sticks to the wood, because we're going to sand that down later anyways. We just want it to fall down inside the crevices. It's not something you can actually witness, but I'm pretty confident that it's happening. Alright, I'm going to go and shake this dust off. I shake it into the bottle again. Okay, I shook all that loose dust off. And I'm going to clean up the wood a little bit. Not really a problem, because we're going to cut this down and sand it down. And then, later on, we're going to put our pattern down there for cutting purposes. I think once we do the sanding, we'll be looking at something a lot better here. Alright, now, what we want to do here is do a little trimming. First of all, I'm going to cut off this part of the backing board, which you don't need, and I'm going to trim this down here so it's more to the sizing of the cross that we're going to be working with. So go over to the table saw and do this now. Okay, the first thing we want to do is cut off this section of the backing board, which we don't need. So let's drop it down to around there, and let's cut that off. Okay, we've cut that off now, and it's looking more like a shape that we're going to need for that cross. Now what we want to do next is cut off this section, but the problem is, of course, we've got some overlap here. So what I'm going to use is a little sled that I made for my table saw. We're going to put the area we want to cut off on the straight edge here, right about there, I think we'll do it. And we're going to slide this through to trim off a piece that we don't need. We're shaping a brand new piece, in other words. Okay, so let's do that cut. Okay, we got a nice straight edge on that. The sled is a nice safe way of doing our cut here without putting ourselves in danger. And now we want to take off probably a little bit of this, not too much. Do it the same way. Okay, we've got a nice piece here which will work very well for our little cross that we're making. I'm going to go over to the belt sander now, and I'm going to sand down this top so it's a lot smoother and maybe a little better looking too, to take some of the burns out. Let's go over here to the belt sander. We'll just move this in a little bit. We're just going to run this over here, try to smooth everything out. Here we go. Okay, we're going to take our nicely sanded piece down here and take some blue painter's tape. And we're going to cover this, make the cutting a little easier. Plus we'll also have a place to stick our pattern. Okay, I put some goo on the back here, some glue stick, We're going to put this right down on top of our block. Have no idea what the pattern of the wood is underneath. We're going to go on a lot of chance here. Now, this cross was made to be a pendant, so what I'm going to do is cut off that little part at the top where you have the hole and just make it a straight cross. We're going to mount this on a little piece of wood that's going to be like a stone that it's sitting on. So what we're going to do now is take this to the drill press and put a little entry hole here, and we're going to cut this out at the scroll saw. So we'll go over the scroll saw right after that. See you over there. Okay, I got a number 5 reverse tooth blade in here. I'm going to put this through the bottom. We'll go to work cutting. Here we go. Okay, got our cut done here. Let's pop this out. Very easy cut, was just a exterior cut. And there is our cross. What does it look like, we wonder? Let's take it over to the bench and peel this tape off. Okay, we're over at the bench here now. What we can do is just peel this tape off of here and take a look at what we've got as a result of our multifaceted wood. Okay, a little bit different than regular plain old wood. There's a big section of maple up at the top, little sketchy pieces of other woods. Now the real fun comes. What we're going to do is we're going to sculpt this on the bench sander, and we'll see what we can come up with. So let's go over there. Okay, now comes the fun part. We're going to take the cross and just improvise the movement here over the belt sander as it spins right on the edge to try and give some kind of sculpting shape to this cross. And then we're also going to do that with this piece of mulberry to give it some rugged look to it. That's going to be the base for our cross. So here we go. Cross your fingers. Okay, we really raveled this thing up so it's really rustic looking now, and we're going to take it over to the other mop sander and we're going to smooth it all out. Okay, we're over here at the mop sander. My mop is getting a little worn down, as you can see. It's been through quite a bit of work, but I think we got enough so we can smooth this all out. I'm going to just run it over this thing while it's spinning and see if we can smooth out some of the fuzzies that are on here. Okay, looks a lot better. Took a lot of the fuzzies off and has a nice rustic look about it, which is what we want. I'm going to go do the base now on the other sander, and we'll meet over at the bench again, see if we can put this together. Okay, we're over at the bench again now, and getting ready to finalize this thing. We've got the cross all set, and we've got a nice little base for it. You can see it's been roughed up quite a bit, and looks pretty good. What we're going to do is we're going to place this right on top with some glue. There's several different ways we could face this, front, back, sides, whatever. Since this is going to be the front, we want this to be nice and rustic looking. Alright, so we're going to put it on like that. Now this is going to be a bit tricky. I'm going to try to use a quick grip clamp, typical Irwin one, to do this. I'm going to do this off camera, but I'll bring it back to show you it. Put a little bit of glue on the bottom, and we're going to try to stand it up and clamp it between these two. If it's a little bit off, that won't be too bad because it's supposed to be a rustic looking cross anyways. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, had to do this off camera because I had to have 3 hands to do this. I put a little block underneath it to hold it level with the base, and then I clamped it on the top and bottom. I'm bringing it together, and I'm going to just let that dry now, and we'll take a look at it when it's done. Okay, the glue is nicely dried, and cross is nicely shaped. Looks pretty good, standing up on the little mound that I made for it. I think we're going to call this the cross on the hill. And what I want to do now is probably spray it with a clear spray, give it a little bit of a sheen to it, and we'll be all done with it. I'll put a picture of it up at the end here so you can take a look at it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and this little project. Come back again and visit with me. If you like this, click the little like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Thank you for watching.